but I still recommend putting them in front of the columns.
Shining down.
Yep, shining down. So I would put them in this fur down. One there, one here, and yes, it is kind of next to your wall. I come about a foot off of this wall and put one right about here. If I was you, I'd probably put one up there if you can reach it, just to highlight that corner of the house. It would go here, here, highlight this pole, highlight this column, highlight that column. It's going to give you enough light where...
So you have 4 and maybe 5.
Maybe 5 if you can get to it, and if you want to put that, I would still put one right there because it would highlight that corner, and it makes the shape of your house.
And how big a light do you put there?
4-inch can.
Okay. And what about under the porch? Nothing?
You don't need it because these 4-inch cans, even though they're going to highlight here, they're going to light up back here. It's going to hit your door. It's going to hit your side. Yeah, it might have a little shadow right here, but I don't think you need it. You don't want too bright. Now, for that, you can add one.
And that's for like a wreath or something. And if we put one up there...
You could put one, I would put it switched differently, or you could put it the same, but you could put a light here with a gimbal, a 4-inch gimbal, and shine it.
Right, almost closer is better so you're not staring into it when you open the door.
Yeah. Yep, you can put it in the middle. I would put it in the middle of this with a gimbal. You're not going to really stare into it with it being in the middle right
with that, right now...
Yeah, you're staring.
You kind of blinds you.
Yeah. No, I would put in the middle of here, gimbal can that swivels, like the ones we're doing in your ceiling in the living room, and just shining at your door.
And another 4-inch. And what about floods? Would you do anything different?
Screw in light bulb, LED bulbs.
Okay. And tell me again the light.
Full cutoff wall pack. So it's in our catalog. You'll see it in there.
Okay.
It's called a full cutoff wall pack. It's kind of an industrial fixture, just like that one is, but instead of shining light at the street and blinding people and kind of taking away the look of your house, it's just going to shine light down and out a little bit to the back of your cars right here, where this whole area will be lit, but it's not blinding anybody on the street, so that it takes away from the look of your house.
It's my neighbors I want to blind because they have lights on.
Well,
all night for me.
The reason that we're doing these column lights is to accent and highlight your house, the shape of your house. So that's going to show the whole front of your house. This is going to shine here, here, and this kind of highlight just the accents and shape of your house, and that's all you really need.
Okay.
So.
And so keep my floods, and also have that one, or I don't need the flood anymore on that end.
On a switch, a separate switch.
Right now, the floods are the only ones that work.
Yeah.
That's one switch and that's one switch.
Okay.
And that switch, that flood is on a switch right inside the garage door.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to keep those separate if you can. If you could keep those on separate switches, because you don't want those on at all times.
Right.
You either want them on a motion, or you want them on a.
And that's actually what the electrician was talking about, because I don't have a switch there and I don't have a switch back there, and he said, well, maybe you have it on a sensor so when somebody comes up or whatever, it stays on.
Those you can have straight power and run them on a motion sensor, so that the only time they come on is if somebody comes around here. When you want your house just glowing in the middle of the night, people just driving down the street, you don't want those security lights, because those are the things that are kind of just blinding and uglier. And you want stuff like this, that's them accent lights that are going to just accent your house and look good, give a little perimeter lighting, and it's going to show up nice. Those would be just if somebody walks right here in your grass or something, it's going to kick on and catch them.
Right. And what you can see my hooks. I've put Christmas lights up there, and I wrapped the poles for the mechanic canes.
You can still do that, but
with Christmas lights on the poles and stuff, will I be able to turn off those?
You're gonna have to. You gotta put a switch on them somewhere. You don't want them on at all the time, so yeah, they're gonna have a switch somewhere.
I mean, you don't want a light sensor type of.
No. I wouldn't put for your can lights underneath. I would not do a light sensor.
Okay.
I would do a switch somewhere that's dimmable, because our 4-inch cans, my 4-inch cans on my house, almost every house we do Eve lighting, we usually keep them at about 25%.
Really?
You don't want a big, bright, blinding light out here. You want a nice, subtle accent.
But you could turn it up if you
could, yeah,
need
you can crank it up. That's what I say. You got to put it in a dimmer switch. You got to figure out how you're going to get a dimmer switch to it. With that Pico, with that remote system I was talking about, he can put you a outlet. If he can get power up here, he can put you a switch over here. You put a Pico on your wall. You don't have to run wires inside or nothing. It'll talk wirelessly to these switches.
Oh, right.
So he could put the switch outside, like I have on my outdoor kitchen. I have a switch outside, but inside my back door, by my French doors inside, I put a Pico on the wall, and I put a little fake outlet. There's no wires behind it, but it looks just like a light switch. That controls the outside because I didn't want to run a wire from my outdoor kitchen to here. It just talks wirelessly.
Well, that's the problem I have. And I mean, obviously I have and I don't know why I still have it up there because we're not using that light over the door, but I draw my power off of that outlet
you can
right
maybe
now.
come off of that outlet somehow and just run you
Have the
a
outlet
nice way of
up where
have
you
an
can't
outlet
see
up
it.
there and you don't have to put an outlet. Just put a switch, a Pico switch in a waterproof box, and that switch will be a dimmer switch, but you put that Pico inside, and now you've got something that's going to wirelessly from inside tell it to turn on. Really, you don't worry about turning off and on and dimming. You can control it all from your phone. Once you get this system, you don't even need the Pico inside. Pull out your phone if you want. Have them on a schedule where they come on at 6 o'clock in the evening and turn off at.
Well, the
in
bigger
morning.
problem is anybody that would buy the house after us.
Well, they wouldn't. You would either take those switches with you and just say, "Hey, look, these don't work. Sorry," or you're gonna keep the Lutron switches or something in here, which you might want to take with you when you leave. But it's something that I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, it's either they got to buy the Lutron switch for $50 to make them work, or they stay here and that whole system stays here and they start using that as their house. It might be a selling point for the house, and you say, hey, with the switches,
Automated.
we'll save in. Yeah, if you do everything automated in the next year or two, and then you sell it, say for $2 or $3 grand, I'll sell you the whole automated package.
Right.
Whatever you have into it. I don't know. If you did every switch, if you just got a couple switches, I would just leave them. And just tell them how to use it.
Right, and I mean, what's the difference in power usage with what we're going to versus where we are? I mean, will we see a...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're adding lights, so you have terrible lighting in each area right now, so we're adding a lot more lights, but you're still going to be less than what you're using right now.
Right.
That fixture in your... inside your kitchen right now, it's probably about 100 watts. Is that 4 lamps or 3 lamps?
The fluorescent?
Fluorescent.
Yeah, but I just stuck that. The light that was up there was all halogen.
Just halogen. Okay, so what they had in it? 100 watt, 60 watt bulbs?
Yes, at least
We're gonna
60.
be going
There were
back
like
with-
6 or 7 of
We're
them.
going to be going back with like a 12 watt LED bulb. So we put a 60 watt bulb. If you had one, you had the 50 watt track lighting. things.
Yeah,
So if you had that and you had 5 of them in it?
so, at least.
250 watts. That's more wattage than we're putting around your whole house now.
Right.
We're adding in.
Plus, the under the cabinet lights are those halogen lights.
Yep, there was a 50 watt halogen, so or 30 watt
they burn
halogen.
hot.
So those are going to little 3 watt and 5 watt LED bars. These outside are going to be 9 watt LEDs. All the 4-inch cans are 9 watts. So we can put 10 of them, and it's still not as much as a 100 watt light bulb.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might be adding, this whole house might use 200 watts now. As far as the lights we're adding in, we might be adding 200 watts of light. You had that just in your kitchen. More than that. You had 250
Right.
probably in your kitchen. Just in
That's
your
awesome.
kitchen.
That's
So,
awesome. Good.
Yep.